Yes, welcome back, and we are sorry, but we are having some technical challenges. As you can imagine, this is a very rural part of St. Vincent where the network is not the best. So, Mr. Patterson, you were saying to us about the marijuana cultivation that's taking place there.
Yes, as we were saying that it's our underground economy where the government can't get enough jobs for everyone. So then this is where our farmers now turn to, because to plant a cabbage and get for $5 a pound when you can plant marijuana and get $400 a pound. But then what we are seeing here now also, it affect the forests, and we are seeing a lot of deforestation. And it would be nice that if we can legalize for medical purposes or factory, because there's a lot of things that we can do with the marijuana. If you have to Google and go and look for hemp and go and look for these things, we can see we can do a lot more than just smoking marijuana, you know. But also if we can bring the farmers from this far and let them use traditional lands that is not using to plant their marijuana, this will be good while the forest is being grown back, you know, so that all the water that is coming down from out of the forest, we won't have so much water reaching to our villages, but we will have trees that will cushion and soak some of this water, soak some of this runoff, rather than reaching down, because we have to start to think about the ridge. It's from the ridge to the sea, to the ridge where we have to protect. It's not only the beaches where we are going to clean, but also is in the forest where the ridge. Because if you can notice that is most of the cultivation is on the ridge side where the sunlight is and if you notice there are no trees where the runoff, it will run off speed with a lot of force, and it will come all the way down to our shores.
And the reason why there are no trees is because the trees were cleared
From here for cultivation. So then if we can see how much we can really legalize marijuana and see that and let our forest go back, then all this amount of force of water won't reach so far so fast, because we'll have the forest, we'll have the trees to cushion all the runoff and the landslides and so on.
Just a context about how high above sea level are we now?
We have what we are seeing up there. I don't know if you can see is the summit. Yeah,
And the summit is 4,000,
yes,
48 feet.
yes. So let's say we are still about 3,000. We're about 3,000.
So this is pretty high up.
Yes, we are very very high up, and we just passed the halfway point, and we still have about. We're trying to reach the summit, so we still have about 2 hours to go, you know, and we are seeing, we can see the devastation of the runoff of water from the trough system, and so then if we can really advocate that, you know, let us legalize marijuana. This is the best thing.
Okay, so once again, if you're joining us, we're hiking the leeward end of the last Soufriere Trail. We've been at it for about 2 hours, you would say, Salvin?
Yes.
About 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and we're hoping to reach the summit. The reason why we're here is because Richmond Vale Academy, where Salvin teaches, they were able to secure grant funding to pay for the rehabilitation of the trail, which is on the way. Some parts that were impassable have been made passable again, and they've invited the media to come and join them to hike, and I accepted the invitation. As you may know, I do cover the environment quite a bit, locally, regionally and internationally, so I thought it would be nice to come here and see what is being done here. The trail, apart from being reused for recreational purposes, it is an important part of the tourism product of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I will allow you to experience a few minutes of it while I walk. I don't know if the network would fail, and forgive me that I'm breathing a little heavily, but it's quite a steep climb.
Also, there are lots of indigenous, well, not indigenous, but there are also, we call this one, this is a root, it's from the tattoo, from the armadillo. You know, so 'cause we can see it. So if you can come here as early, you might be able to meet it from the armadillo, this root here. So this is also one of the animals that is destroying the forest. It is not indigenous,
Yes,
it was brought here.
It was brought to St. Vincent.
Right, so what it do, it digs and it go in the root, and it will dig out the root of the tree. And the tree will fall. and this will also end up to the beaches. You know, so this is also one of the things that is causing deforestation. You know, yes.
Welcome Lucy, who's joining us on the broadcast, and she's wanting me to keep my carbon footprint light in her neck of the woods. I will try my best to do that, and welcome everybody else who has joined us on this broadcast. We are hiking up the La Soufriere Volcano. We're hoping to reach the summit, which is 4,048 feet above sea level. If we were on the windward side of St. Vincent, we would have been at the top already. Maybe at the top and back, but the leeward side is a tougher climb, and we're hoping to make it there. We have here our tour guide, Mr. Erasto, who we spoke to a little earlier. And towards the back of the pack, most of the people have gone ahead because I stopped to take in some of the cultivation on the hillside and also to speak with Selwyn. So this is the terrain. It's really nice and cool, but because I'm climbing, my body's still hot and I'm sweating quite a bit. But there's a nice gentle breeze. Hopefully not too much to distort the sound. I've climbed the volcano myself quite a few times, but always from the windward or the eastern side. This is my very first time taking it from the west. And if I might say, I have some roots in this area. Okay, Damien Macter says, it looks easy now, Kenton. When I hiked from Leeward in September 2016, there was no track in some parts, and that, Damien, is because of the efforts of people like Selwyn and the Richmond Vale Academy and other people involved in this project. Catch your breath, Amicia. It's virtually impossible to do that. And I must say, I consider myself to be a rather fit person. I jog about at least 15 kilometers every week. But after climbing for 2.5 hours, then I think it would be a little artificial if I'm walking and not breathing heavily. Take your time, you will get there. Indeed, I do plan to get there, but probably not on my own time. So just to give you another view of the marijuana cultivation. Some marijuana cultivation here on these slopes. And you can easily see why, if there's heavy rain, there would be a lot of runoff, a lot of silt going down into the valleys and ending up in the communities, into the inhabited areas of St. Vincent. So this part of the conversation about marijuana cultivation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and well, Selwyn says legalization, but I think the conversation is about decriminalization for medicinal purposes. But even if that were to happen, we are not as yet clear on what form that would take, because we heard that Canadian company Pace Development, they're interested in medical marijuana and offering medical marijuana at their Black Sun resorts when it is completed. So we don't know as yet what the implications would be, if any, for farmers such as these. Yes, St. Vincent is very beautiful, Rangoon, and there is indeed a lot of potential for ecotourism on the leeward end. So I don't normally do this, but Back today. Yes, I'm drenched in sweat. I'm wearing my backpack with my camera. Welcome Tony Gali. And we're hiking up La Soufriere together. I think this view is a lot better. I'm sure you'll agree. Siobhan Maloney, we welcome you also. And somebody's calling me on my other phone. I guess I will call that person back in a bit. Yes, Tony, I'm working hard. I'm climbing up La Soufriere. And they say we're about 3,000 feet up. But this is the leeward, the western end of St. Vincent, so it's really tough. And the trail has just been rehabilitated, so I decided to come and hike it. I've been up the volcano several times on the windward end from the windward side, but I decided I would join the group to see what things are like from the leeward end. The leeward end of St. Vincent has some of the better beaches, very beautiful, deep, volcanic beaches, calm waters, but very deep all the same. And those are some of the views that you're seeing in the distance there. The visibility is great. You can see quite a way out. There's some small pleasure boats moving by, like that speck you're seeing there, and that trail that you're seeing there, that's a go fast boat, a speed boat. Yes, Peter Oliver, yes, I do have water in my backpack. I know that hydration is not to be taken lightly, and I do appreciate your concern. This is a view of some of the flora in this area. Ferns, of course, as you would expect. In this area there's some various types of wood.
Sweet wood, Spanish ash, that kind of stuff we got around here.
So what is this type of wood generally used for? Is it used in...
Firewood. Sweet wood is basically building, construction of local houses. And Jamanjo is also construction. And
just remind the people of who you are, because this is a new video.
yeah, this is Erasto Robertson. I'm a park ranger with the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority. I've been on the job with the National Parks for quite a few years, and I really have fun out here in the environment.
Is National Parks directly involved in this project, in rehabilitating?
Yes,
and in what capacity?
actually the trail is a National Parks trail, and we have been offering technical support to the rehabilitation of the trail. So we are a major stakeholder along with forestry, in that the forest is managed by the forestry department and the Ministry of Agriculture, but the trail is the National Parks, comes under the supervision of the National Parks. So that's where you have a crossing of National Parks and forestry.
Okay, so you're a professional, but also you're from this community. You're not Leeward man.
Yes, I am. I consider myself a man on the ground, a farmer, first and foremost, a community activist, you could say that, and then a ranger with the National Park has saw me down the line.
Okay, so I was having a conversation with Selwyn about the cultivation of marijuana here.
Yeah.
And let me go on this side so the microphone will be closer to you.
Okay.
And what are your views on marijuana cultivation as a whole, and maybe the impact on the environment?
Okay, the truth is that what has happened with marijuana is just what has happened with every other cash crop, which would have came our way over the past 100 or so years. These countries been moving from one cash crop to the other over the years. We have moved from sugarcane to tobacco to arrowroot to coconut to bananas, and each of these crops would have done the time. There was a time when it was the heyday, you make lots of money, and then eventually you would have come into competition with somewhere who could produce it much cheaper, and then you lose the market. In the case of marijuana, this is just another of the cash crop which has replaced banana.
But it's an illegal crop.
It is illegal, and the law has its way of dealing with that aspect of it. But survival has to be eked out somewhere. And when you have whole communities veering towards that kind of survival, it makes me wonder how legal or how illegal it really is. Yes, on the law books of the country, it is illegal, but you're going to do imprison the whole community.
When you say the whole community, you mean North Leeward?
No, you could say North Leeward in that, to be honest, if you were to look at any particular activity which employs the most people in North Leeward, that is the activity. Marijuana production is the activity. We don't have as many persons involved in teaching. We don't have as many in the police force, in the civil service, in the north. We don't have as many. And for farmers on a whole, even though we have quite a few vegetable farmers, I am still of the firm opinion that the bulk in numbers are into ganja production. And it's easy to find that out. An early morning on the coast or an evening on the coast would allow you to see boats and boats of farmers moving to and fro. In that, that is the major means of transportation to these parts. You sail up the calm waters of the leeward side and you get in on a bay and make your way up the ridges. And there's where we're at.
Okay, so you have in your hand a seed. What is that?
Actually, it
Can
is.
you open just put it in your palm?
It's called the horse eye. It's one of the seeds that is used in jewelry, natural jewelry. It's usually used as a pendant. It's called the horse eye. Some of the vine you see and some of these trees are exactly that same particular plant. That vine on this tree over here and the pods there, that's the horse eye. It's in abundance.
You're talking on the trumpet tree?
And the trumpet tree there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm sure as a child you used to rub it on the concrete until
That's
it gets...
the one that you rub until it gets hot. That, and there's another seed that's called the locust. The locust seed. The horse eye seed and the locust seed. You rub on this concrete, gets real hot.
And then you put it in your friend's hand.
Yeah. That's the real scotch.
All right, thank you very much, Erasto. Okay,
You're welcome, man.
So folks, we're going to end this video now because I do want to get to the top, and if I keep stopping and talking, I would not get there. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to come back here to do this hike again. And I want to be able to say that I hiked to the summit of La Soufriere from the leeward end. And I think I was beginning to say, or I might have said in an earlier video, that in a sense, from a personal, this is retracing my roots. Because my great-great-grandfather, I understand, was from Fancy, and he would walk over the mountain, and he came to Chateaubriand where he had a few children with a few different women, but he gave all of them his surname Chance. So the Chances in St. Vincent, we're all related, one big family, and we originated in the north of St. Vincent, in Fancy, and my great-grandmother was from Waliaboo, which is beyond Richmond, north of Richmond, and then we moved down to the south of the island. So I think you have put up with my heavy breathing for long enough, and I am going to thank you everyone for watching this video. When we get to the summit, if we do have an internet connection, if we have a data connection, we will come back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and please share this video with your friends.